Welcome to Masterpiece Acting. I'm your host, Maria Mayanzet. Forget that. Welcome to Straight Talk About Acting with Maria. So today I wanted to answer some of the questions that have come up in class and some of the things that I've observed in the past week and a half since the semester started. One of the things we talked about today was consistency of energy and focus, which is very hard to master on set. There's so many distractions. The crew are moving C-stands, they're setting up more lights, they're getting another kino in, flags, silks, you name it. They're discussing the shots, they're going over not only the shot list but the storyboard. And there you are as the actor, you're seated in your position or you're standing on your mark, and you have to stay focused. You have to stay in character. You have to be energized. You have to be emotionally engaged. You have to know what you want, what you need. You have to understand what the struggle of the character is, what the objective is, and how many actions you're going to have to play in order to accomplish your objective. And if you don't accomplish your objective, what are you going to do? How is that going to affect you? How is that going to affect you emotionally? How is that going to affect your body language, your behavior, all those things? The camera picks up everything. It picks up the articulation of life. It picks up your inner life of your character, and it also picks up every aspect of the character that you've made a decision about, from what you're wearing to how you move in space and to how you communicate. What your rhythm is, what your timing is, what your intonation is, what your emphasis is. That's all part of an actor's job. As Stanislavski says, an actor prepares. So when you prepare, you have to be detailed and you have to be in depth in everything you do. But then when you get on set, you want to let go of all that. You've done all the work. Now set yourself free. Surrender to the experience and allow yourself to be truthful, honest, organic, and in the moment. Easier said than done. But if you take the attention off of yourself and put the attention on your scene partner, things can change. Even if you put your attention on something that matters to your character, whether it's a book that's on a table, whether it's your cell phone that you're looking at, waiting to get a text. Let's say your character's waiting to get a text from someone they met and they're hoping to hear from that person. So all those things create nuance, create specificity in the work, and that makes it more believable. That makes your character three-dimensional versus two-dimensional. So that's important. Now, another way to stay focused is to improvise with your scene partner, but don't keep repeating the dialogue because then it won't be fresh. So improvise something about a memory that you could have of when your character and the other character were together when they first went to the beach, or when they first got their acceptance letters to the colleges of their choice, whatever it is, some shared experience. Now your scene partner may not know what that is, but your scene partner should use the principles of improv, which are yes and play along. So if your scene partner plays along, then something can happen and it'll be real and you'll be warmed up and you'll be focused and you'll be energized and you'll be ready for when they say action. The other thing you can use if your scene partner would rather stay focused and in their own world is music. Find a piece of music that reflects what your character is feeling at this juncture, in this scene. And it's really helpful and useful, particularly because we shoot out a sequence. When we're filming, we shoot out a sequence. So it's hard to go back and forth, to shift into those worlds of experience and emotion. Music can be very helpful and instrumental. Always score your script so you know where you are at all times, what you're feeling at all times. But again, remember that's all part of the preparation for before you cross the threshold into the studio and walk on the set. Once you're there, that world is a reality and nothing else matters. All your focus and attention on your scene partner is going to breathe life into these characters and tell their story. And that is your job. Your job as an artist, as an actor, is to reflect the human condition and to do that with truth, honesty, and believability. And don't forget, the camera reads your thoughts. So have something going on in your mind That doesn't mean overthink anything. It just means have something going on in your mind, because the camera will see whether your character is listening well, whether your character is distracted, distant, longing, all those things. All the things that are not said, everything that's underneath, that's what the camera picks up. So make sure something's going on. Don't just be going over your shopping list in your head. Not that that can't, in its own way show something, but have something going on that has to do with your character. Now, behavior of your character. What can you do to make choices about behavior? Well, that's pretty easy. I mean, is the character easygoing? That's going to convey a different physical, the character's relaxed in the body, doesn't really care about, let's say, fashion perhaps. And that's another thing. You can reach the truth of your character from the outside in, not just the inside out. So you've done your analysis. You've decided what the objective is, what the beats are. You've decided what the actions you have to play. You know the want, need, and struggle of the character. You've done all that work. But now you have to go a little bit further. How does the character dress? And how does that inform you in terms of how the character moves in space? So if you're doing a period piece and you're a woman and you're wearing a corset, how does that make you feel? Let's say your character is an educated woman, so she has to put on this corset, and when she would rather not be in the corset and be writing poetry. It could be anything. So that's all up to you. But does the corset represent to the woman being shackled in a patriarchal world that, men are the boss and the woman doesn't feel that she has any rights? Is the corset a metaphor for what's keeping the character from attaining her goals? So these are things, and for men, if you're wearing a military uniform, that's going to change how you move in space, right? So think about that, how the costume can inform you. The British school of acting is very outside in. You make specific decisions about the physical life of the character, the vocal life of the character, and the essence of the character, as well as their biography and history. So when you do all that work, then when you come on set, those things activate the emotional life of the character. How the character moves, how the character speaks, tells you what the emotional connection is. In America, we prefer to be psychoanalytical, and we prefer to say, what is my character's deepest feelings and thoughts? Well, I mean, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's difficult. We use our creative imagination, we use a substitution, but sometimes it's hard to activate that. So sometimes working from the outside in can be more successful than working from the inside out. But again, that's personal choice. So I leave it up to you. Let's talk about cold readings. Cold readings. I've seen a lot of terrific cold readings in the past 8 days. And strong choices, but not strong enough, not bold enough, not fearless enough. So how can you be bold and fearless and make the strong choices that make you stand out in an audition and make the casting directors take note and want to call you back? Well, emotional connection is important. Making a connection with the person you're reading with is also important. And the stakes have to be high. It has to be not necessarily life and death, but it has to be strong enough that it matters to you. Remember, energy and focus is commensurate with how much you care. So being bold and being strong in your choices in a cold reading has to do with how much you care. How much do you care about being there? How much does your character care about the conversation they're having? Does it matter? Is it significant? It should be. And I'm not saying that if you go in and read for a part which is based in your line is, can I get you a cup of coffee? How strong can that be? Well, it could be strong. It could be you're a secretary and you want a promotion. So you might say, can I get you a cup of coffee? And I'm right here behind you. I'm giving 110%. Please think of me. And I want that promotion. Or you could be seductive. You could be basically saying, here's your cup of coffee and call me later. So there's so many things that you could do to make the choice stronger. So think of that when you do a cold reading next time. How can I make my choices bold, strong, fearless? How can I be in the moment with whomever I'm reading with? How can I synthesize what that other person is saying to me and make it seem like I'm hearing it for the very first time? What's the revelation that that character is saying to me, and what's my realization about that revelation, and how am I going to react to that? Those are all important things to keep in mind next time you have a cold reading audition. By the way, there's some auditions tomorrow night at the McKinney Theater at 6 o'clock for our season at the Theater Arts Department, so please check into that. Also, the Film 1 and Film 2 students will be looking for actors throughout the semester, so I'll keep you posted. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me on Straight Talk About Acting with Maria, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Oh yeah, you can email me questions anytime at mariamyanzet@hotmail.com, and check out the classes at Saddleback College, Mission Viejo, California, and look forward to seeing you soon.